heard about AI relevance. Is it critical? Is it evolving, or is it revolutionary or evolutionary? I missed the keynote session, but I attended many other sessions, and honestly speaking, I'm confused. Is it really uh, going to make or break, or is going to displace the software developers' work, so on and so forth? So I'm sure most of us are in that category. After listening to some of the talks, I thought, what are the additional data points that I should be adding to my slide? But again, I dropped the idea. I thought I will go with my understanding itself. So, having said that, I'm not a prophet or a tarot reader or an oracle. I can't predict the future. All what I have is some data points, put it in the perspective, and let's debate together. It's not complete, it may not be comprehensive. If you have ideas, if you have perspectives to put in, welcome. Let's solve this puzzle, or let's at least address this puzzle based on the data points. So I will look at the AI and cloud landscape and some of the shift in paradigms and the role of developers. Some of the thing based on my point of view. So before getting into that, let's start with the fear of history. Okay, history of fear. So how various stages of the human civilization we opposed the idea of innovation, we oppose the idea of revolution, we oppose the idea of various other discovery, etc. So we had electricity, automobiles. Every time we would have had this kind of problem. The one which we can easily relate to is the mobile revolution. I still remember many folks talking about mobiles are really going to be bad because it will displace the job of so many folks who are running the, for example, the telephone exchange, the booths, telephone booths, mostly run by physically challenged people. So all of them will get displaced, etc. But what happened? They were they were getting charged by pulses or something, and they take back 50 rupees, 100 rupees in a day. But now most of them are running mobile shops and carrying away thousands of 2,000 rupees a day because they are selling mobiles or repairing mobiles or selling airports or things like that. So there was much of displacement of the job, I would say, but they got migrated, they got upgraded. That's my assumption. You can definitely uh, put your perspective.
It is often a weather quickly go up, right? But how to be step back?
Hmm.
Always plan this data just got the
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, okay, at this point, I want to know how many of you think that AI is revolutionary and it will displace the jobs, our jobs? Very less number of folks. Okay, so AI is not going to displace the jobs, is what we think. Okay, let's look at some of the uh, prehistoric fear. None of us existed, so we cannot validate that. In the prehistory, similar fear would have happened when these kinds of innovations came into the picture. The fire, the wheels, the agriculture, all sort of things. There would be funny comments. Maybe the language itself wouldn't have developed at that point in time, but they would have had similar feelings. The one which I like the most is the cloth. It says it hides the truth, so it's bad sort of comments. Any comments here? So the summary of these two slides is every innovation had associated apprehensions, pushbacks, and the negative energy in massive amount until the innovation established and gave us the new way of life and set the new standards. That's that's my point of view. Any thoughts? Again, this I mean, I'm putting my point of view. Doesn't mean that this is true. As I said, I'm equally at your own level. Okay, let's look at some other contrasting characteristics. So AI, user AI is not going to displace the job. AI already has displaced many jobs. You can check, I think 300 million jobs worldwide is already gone. Not to scare you, that's ChatGPT told me. I just checked what is the number of jobs. I don't know if it is faking, but that's what I know. I heard that number, 30 crores. And plus, look at the development work that it is displacing, right? It can write the code, it can write test cases, it can write documentation, it can interpret the code, it can build designs, and it can create cool multimedia. The picture that I'm showing is definitely AI generated. Can you figure out it's real or fake? I mean, very, very thin boundary, right? So essentially means it has invaded most of the aspect of the development and the human life as well. So I mean, anybody who is not using ChatGPT these days, wow, okay. Anybody using Google search engine still? Oh, even I use it, but by mistake. I go there, then I realize, hey, why do I go there? Why do you use Google search still? It's cool.
That's
Ah, okay. Okay, it has its own AI element. Okay. But sorry?
it. I there's like the stuff you got it now. Like
Yeah.
experience something like my cookie for a stack of clothes. Even when it's technical now, it puts it is that you have the fast. Like
Yeah. Muscle memory, yeah.
we got talking about we see yeah.
Uh-huh.
We are
Okay.
now I have a thought. I don't feel you got the thought. I feel that
Yeah.
they get it knowledge back both the Amara
Yeah.
and to you what he thought.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree. So different perspectives, but do we all agree that in the last 1 year or 1.5 years, the usage of Stack Overflow, Google search engine has drastically shifted to AI search engine? So that's alarming, or that is really AI is out of the lab and it started really solving the problems. 2010, IBM had something called IBM Watson, which solved the Jeopardy game by actually contesting with a human being, answering questions. But it was a game. It was a, I mean, the criticism was this is custom made just to solve the problems in a specific domain. But that was a proof point that AI is possible. But now it's out of the proof point. It's solving real business world problems. So um, there is no limit about the kind of questions that we ask or the way we use ChatGPT. It's not just technical. We solve all sort of, we ask so many other personal questions. I don't think anybody will be able to reveal their ChatGPT window. Because we ask so many questions, right? We don't ask those questions to our own parents or partners or kids, but we ask that. So that means the credibility, that means the dependence, right? Okay. So which one is real and which one is fake?
Yeah. Like this was
That is real, this is fake, or fake? Anybody think fake?
and
Both real, both real, fake real, real fake. Okay, so that shows, right? That clearly shows. I mean, in reality, this is fake and that is real. That's my niece. Okay, so I asked. I mean, I had that picture. I asked Gemini to create a boy picture that is matching all the characteristics of my niece. So that's how I got it. But again, very clearly, it's indistinguishable, which means it has real capability inbuilt into that. That's the essence I want to carry over. Okay, so we said it started doing a lot of development work, and it is it has displaced so many jobs. But then here is a counter argument. Every job it replaces, it creates 5 or 10 different new opportunities. In some other talks, I think in the keynote talk in the morning, they were saying about the genome sequencing or the protein detection. One example in science, I wanted to add that here, I missed it. So previously, one PhD time it takes to sequence one particular protein. Now they sequenced all the proteins, all the 20,000 billion proteins in the universe in one shot, and they kept it in a database. So uh, healthcare, legal, agriculture, tourism, anybody in the room who can authentically say that you had the best experience in tourism, the best travel, best sightseeing, best stay in the best season may not be possible, right? I mean, there may be, but you will have some bad experience somewhere. In the worst case, you may not get the proper transportation. So agriculture, same case. I mean, not the right time, not the right crop, market opportunity. So many areas, so many domains where the data, insight from massive data could actually help improve the human experience in big time. So those are new opportunities. It's not just the putty terminal where the job is getting lost. New jobs are getting inserted. New opportunities are coming. That's one counter argument. Thoughts on that?
So, when the team was goodbye to the well, those guys they don't need to be you
Yeah,
will cover the series the first week to get grabs to the so that is it might other means what to look at that by the team
right.
and
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I agree to that. It may not be the same person. It may not be us in the room who might get affected by the role that we are playing. Maybe next generation, or it may not be directly with our own job. Uh, there are so many factors, but definitely the summary is that there will be shift in the way we look at the things, right? I mean, I contradicted myself, we contradicted each other in various slides, but what is coming clear is that there will be impact, but there is opportunities as well. I think that is the way I look at it. What would be a counter argument to this? That's my last slide.
broadly maybe cognitive part yeah but
Okay, yeah, but I have something else. This is the investment. $3 trillion is the investment that's happening in the AI in the next 3 years, which is really, really huge. It is more than 10%, around 20% of the whole IT spend in the planet. So that means all these folks are seriously looking at AI, spending money. VCs are coming out the dollars. Governments are changing the policies. Academia is looking at shift in the syllabus and every aspect. Even farmers are talking about AI, and people are coming up with problem statements and use cases and pouring money. That's what we actually heard in Gids throughout, right? So the current capability today, like I work for a POC research project on AI fine tuning on a specific area. I know the pain it takes. The life cycle of model change, it takes a lot of pain. It's not like our Java SDLC. It needs a lot of GPU, CPU, etc. If it doesn't have the proper resources, it takes 18 hours, 24 hours to get some tiny information, and just to say that this was wrong. The compiler takes few minutes, this takes days. So it's painful. At this point, it is painful. But with this level of investment and focus and policy changes, those problems will just dilute away. in very, very short period of time, right? All right. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
how something act by publicity, how that
Okay.
they, the think and that's in expo. So he act in how that to get problem.
Yep.
And it best I see partly story content. And what I get the good, the thing to get.
Yep.
And the dream and automate report that one test. And get on the
Mm-hmm.
big boss stuff to my community. And then I saw kinds of ways and women how to use it. For other things just to and give you the full and fixing it.
Yep.
And all the children city so they do not function properly. But and you can put that to catch that thing that and it just give you the awkward and the after this. So they are going so fast, but that you know yeah all the other even the back to
Yeah. Sure. Thank you very much. Yeah. So coming back to the investment part, anybody know about CNCF Cloud Native Computing Foundation? Started small. It's a website portal with all the cloud vendors represented in one tile, 1 square inch. That was the original thing. But as and when more investments and more parties added to the cloud, the area of the tile became so tiny. Now you can't read anything. IBM will be one small pixel in the in the whole of the CNCF spectrum. Similarly, they came up with an AI landscape. Have anybody seen that? I think it was there in the keynote yesterday. It's even huge, very, very big. You can't make out anything. Every company, every technology, every framework is just a dot. And you need, if you want to know more about that, you need to hover or click on that to go to the next page and understand. So that clearly shows the investment, the focus is on AI and it's going to be disruptive. Now, having said all those things, this is what I have come up with the role of developers. Combine it with the previous session, what I see is in the left hand side, what are the jobs or what are the kind of activities which typically would be displaced by cloud and AI together. If you closely look at it, you will see it's various aspects of the software development life cycle, starting from development, unit testing, debugging, deploying, running, and production sustenance, SRE sort of thing, roughly. Do you see that in the left hand side? Now, each of those job will have specific aspects that will be taken away by AI. So, at this point, our gut feeling is that tasks which are predictable, tasks which are structured will be the natural choice. Task which requires next level of cognitive uh, actions that require combination of multiple entities to be associated, related, um, synthesis is required, deeper analysis is required, connecting with multiple parties are required. It's not just building a system, but connecting with different endpoints. In the process wise, critical situations which requires client engagements, phone calls, and um, what do you say, uh, getting on board with the client's expectations, setting expectations, so on and so forth. These are still human elements. So every aspect of the SDLC, you will see more complex jobs, including logical reasoning, including critical thinking, creativity, designing sort of things will still rest with humans. So if you are doing routine job, chore work, I would say that's the time, that's where you say next level of migrations or next level of insights, what you can gather from that and migrate to that point. This is, again, this is not like written anywhere. I wrote it based on my understanding. If I want to summarize this, I mean, anything that is a routine job, anything that can be easily, say for example, you ask Copilot or ChatGPT to generate a piece of code which will do that. It does that. But if you ask to integrate it into a bigger system, it is not able to do that at this point. So the complexity of integration, the complexity of networking, complexity of problem solving is still rested with human beings. So the transition that I am looking at is from raw coding to thinking. Coding is now cheap. Code is cheap. Code is generated on the fly. Code is generated on demand. No copyright, no licensing is required. Developing to designing and architecting. The architects are the role of the architects will still be valuable because that's not something an AI can do at this point of time. Fixing to foreseeing, predictive maintenance, predicting problems, predicting anomalies will be something which humans should be still doing. Reporting to collaborating, and the last one which I like the most is from executing things to owning things. So that's a mind shift, that's a cultural shift that I'm looking at. We execute things based on what your manager leader is saying, but that will have a contextual element to it. That may be a piece of work which is part of a bigger picture, should know the bigger picture, should know what part of the business this piece of execution belongs to, and what are the value additions, what are the innovations, and the shift that I can bring in. That additional mindset is called the ownership. So in summary of the summary, we are not being replaced. We need to be migrated to the new way of programming and design. I think I talked about this already. Paradigm shift. Workloads keep changing, whether it is cloud or quantum or AI or something futuristic, it keeps changing. What rests with us is not the specific language or the framework or the knowledge about the tools, but the creative thinking and the problem solving and the logical reasoning is the one which we could carry forward. So build your skills on top of it. That's pretty much it is. Thank you so much.